The Barcelona Game by Stephen Rabley. Penguin Active Reading Level 1. Text copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2000. Recording copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2008. Not to be publicly performed, resold, hired, copied or re-recorded without written permission from the publishers.
Holly Hooper lives in Manchester. She has 2 brothers, Kev and Trev. Holly is 12, quiet, and loves books. The boys are 17, noisy, and love football. One September morning, Kev runs into the kitchen. "They're here!" he shouts. "The tickets for the Barcelona game are here!" He dances across the kitchen floor. Holly is reading Oliver Twist. She puts her book down. "The Barcelona game?" she asks. "What's that?" Trev looks at her. "You don't know?" he says. "Manchester United are playing in Spain on Wednesday. Dad, Kev and I are going." "Oh," Holly says. But that evening, Dad isn't well. Next morning he talks to Kev and Trev. "I'm sorry, boys," he says. "I've got a bad cold. I can't go to Spain with you." "But, Dad, we've got 3 tickets for the aeroplane," Kev says, "and 3 tickets for the game." "And a hotel room for you too," Trev says. "What are we going to do?" The room is quiet. Then Mum says, "I know. You can take Holly." Kev looks at Trev. Trev looks at Kev. "Yes," Dad says. "That's the answer. It is the summer holidays, and she's doing Spanish at school too." "But," Kev and Trev say. "No buts," Mum says. "You're taking your little sister with you." The next day is Wednesday. Kev, Trev and Holly leave for Spain. Holly is very happy. On the aeroplane, she reads a book about Barcelona. There are a lot of photos in it. "It's a beautiful place," she thinks. Behind her, the boys are sleeping. They arrive at Barcelona Airport at 3 o'clock. "OK," Trev says. "Let's take a taxi to the hotel." Then Holly says, "Oh no!" and stops suddenly. She can see a big hole in her bag. Some of her books are falling on the floor. Kev looks at Trev. Trev looks at Kev. "This is a good start," Kev says. Then he sees a small airport shop. There are some bags in the window. They have Barcelona on them. "Go and buy a new bag," he tells Holly. "But be quick, OK?" Holly buys one of the Barcelona bags. Then she and her brothers take a taxi to their hotel. Holly goes into her room. It has 2 windows and a very big bed. "This is great," she thinks. Then she goes into Kev and Trev's room. OK, what are we going to do before the game? She asks. We can see the cathedral, or the famous street Las Ramblas, or the Olympic Stadium, or... No, Kev says. We don't want to go to those places. We're going to Tibidabo. It's a fun fair. Trev's friend went there in April. It's great, he says. A fun fair? Holly says. But... No buts, Kev says. I'm telling you, it's great. We're going there, and you're coming with us. Later, Holly and the boys arrive at Tibidabo. Look! There's a big wheel, Trev says. I love big wheels. Me too, Kev says. Let's go. Holly looks at the wheel. Oh no, she thinks. 5 minutes later, the wheel stops. That was great, Trev says. Let's do it again. Then he looks at Holly. Her face is white. Are you all right? He asks. No, Holly says. I'm not. Kev looks at Trev. Trev looks at Kev. OK, listen, Kev says. You see that cafe? Go and wait for us there. But stay there and don't move, OK? OK, Holly says. And put the tickets in your bag, Kev says. We don't want to take them with us. See you at 7 o'clock. OK? Yes, Kev, Holly says. She puts the tickets in her bag. Then she walks to the cafe. At the cafe La Masia, Holly sits down. She asks for coffee. Then she looks at her Barcelona book. I wanted to see these places, she thinks. And now I'm not going to see them. I'm in Spain, and I'm only going to see a game of football. Her coffee comes, and she drinks it. 10 minutes later, a man sits at the next table. He has a moustache and a brown coat. He has a bag with Barcelona on it. Holly sees the bag and smiles. He's got one too, she thinks. Then she looks at her book again. The man drinks 2 black coffees, and after that he leaves. Holly closes her book on Barcelona. Now what, she thinks. It's only 6 o'clock. Suddenly, she remembers Oliver Twist and smiles. Her bag is on the floor. Holly opens it, but then she stops smiling. A blue shirt? An American newspaper? An address book with the name Fred Burns on it? These aren't my things, she thinks. I don't understand. Where's my book? Where are the tickets for the... Then she closes her eyes. Oh, no! The man with the moustache. This isn't my bag. It's his. She stands up. Suddenly, her hands are cold. Where is he? Where is he? She runs out of the cafe. There are a lot of people in the street. Holly looks left and right. I can't see him, she thinks. A boy on a motorbike is passing the cafe. He sees Holly's face and stops. What's wrong? He asks her. She starts to tell him. Then she looks across the street. A taxi is driving away. Fred Burns is sitting in the back. That's him, she shouts. There he goes. He's got my bag. Stop! Stop! He can't hear you, says the boy. The traffic's very noisy. Listen, do you want to follow him? Holly looks at the boy. How? On your motorbike? Yes. Holly thinks about it. Okay, she says. The boy gives her a crash helmet. Put this on, he says. Holly sits behind him and puts it on. What's your name? She asks. Pere, the boy answers. Then he starts the bike and drives quickly away. Holly closes her eyes. Fred Burns's taxi is yellow and black. It goes left, right, and left again very quickly. Pere follows it. Holly opens her eyes. They are passing a big building. She remembers one of the photos in her book. That's the Olympic Stadium, she thinks. 10 minutes later, Fred Burns's taxi is in the famous street Las Ramblas. Holly can see her bag in the back window. She can see Fred Burns too. Please stop, she thinks. Where are you going? There are some traffic lights in front of them. They go from green to yellow. The taxi passes the lights, but then the lights go red. 2 old women start to walk across the street. They have got a lot of flowers in their hands. Oh no, Holly says. She looks at the back of Fred Burns's head. We can't catch him now. Yes, we can, Pere shouts. He drives in front of the 2 women very quickly. One says, Aye! Sorry, Pere shouts and drives away. Pere follows the taxi for a long time. Then it stops near Barcelona's famous cathedral. Holly and Pere stop too. There are a lot of people and cars in front of the cathedral. It's a beautiful building, Holly thinks. Then she remembers Fred Burns. Look, there he is, Pere says. He's getting out of the taxi. Holly takes off her crash helmet. Stop, she shouts. Mr. Burns, please stop. She gets off the bike and starts to run. Pere watches the English girl. She is running very quickly. Fred Burns is walking into the cathedral. The American hears his name and stops. "Me?" he says. He looks left and right. Then he sees Holly. She runs to him and starts talking. 2 minutes later, she comes back to Pere. There is a big smile on her face. "Have you got the right bag now?" he asks. "Yes, I have." Holly is very happy. "Oh, Pere, thank you. How can I—" But then she stops smiling. "Oh, no! What time is it?" Pere looks at his watch. 20 to 7. Why? Suddenly, Holly's face is white again. Kev and Trev! They're going to be at La Masia in 20 minutes. She tells Pere about her brothers and the football game. "I understand," the Spanish boy says. "Okay, put your helmet on again." Pere and Holly drive back to La Masia very quickly. They pass a lot of beautiful old buildings. "This is great," Holly thinks. "I'm seeing Barcelona now." 5 minutes later, she and Pere pass the big wheel at Tibidabo. "What time is it now?" Holly asks. 1 minute to 7, the Spanish boy says. "It's okay. You're not going to be late." He stops in front of the cafe. Holly looks at the people there. "Good," she says. "Kev and Trev aren't here." Then she gets off the motorbike. "Pere, how can I thank you?" she says. "That's okay," Pere answers. "I had a good time." He looks at his motorbike. There are 2 red flowers in one of the wheels. "Here," he says, and he gives the flowers to Holly. "These flowers are for you. Have a good time at the game. Okay?" He smiles and starts his bike. Then he drives away. Kev and Trev arrive at the cafe. Holly is reading Oliver Twist. She looks up. "Oh, hello," she says. "Are we going now?" There are a lot of people in the Nou Camp football stadium. Kev, Trev and Holly get there 10 minutes before the game. "Have you got the tickets?" Kev asks his sister. "Yes," Holly says, and she takes them from her bag. The boys buy food and drinks. Then they all sit down. "We had a great time this afternoon," Trev says. "Yes," Kev says. "A great time." "Good," Holly says. "Me too." Kev looks at Trev. Trev looks at Kev. Then they look at their little sister and smile. "You?" Kev says. "Holly, you never have." But the players are coming into the stadium. "United! United!" Kev and Trev shout. Holly looks at them. "Yes, me," she thinks. I had a great time. She smiles. Then she opens Oliver Twist and starts to read.